Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Three Swords Productions. If you're new here, I'm Nathan. This is Steven. And today we got a fun one. A little bit of Croc versus Smoker. We've been on a little bit of a Croc heater here. It's been a pretty fun deck, so uh, we've been enjoying what's going on with it. You ready to get into today's match?
I am so ready to kick Smoker's ass with Crocodile. Let's go. All right. Starting the game off for us here with a nice dice roll, all fair and true.
All right, so Smoker side, we want to be able to be a little bit more aggressive than we usually are. We're not going to win a long game with the Crocodile ability, keep bouncing all of our stuff back. So we either need to go bigger or we need to play quicker. With the current build I think we have going on, playing quicker is probably the call. A lot of the three drops, and we even have the one drop Kobe there in hand that we're trying out.
Yeah, I mean, the Smoker deck just kind of wanting more removal tools, so we're just like kind of testing out. You guys are going to see us test a lot of deck lists on the channel. Like, we're not always playing the established decks, or we're playing a lot of the established decks, but not exactly the deck lists. So for this one, we are trying out one cost Kobe just to kind of get a feel for it, show off like kind of the weaknesses sometimes. On the Crocodile side, here we're going to start out with Buggy, add Emporio Ivankov to hand. So doing very much what Ivankov wants to do, except for a Crocodile deck. If you've guys seen some of the power behind Crocodile in some of the last videos, then you will already know that 6-cost Luffy can be really, really powerful when paired with Crocodile's ability, as well as that 9-cost Mihawk in hand, which is such a powerhouse when you can bounce two things in a single turn. Like, your opponent is going to feel it. So let's see if I get advantage there.
Yep, and then we are just curving into our more aggressive side, playing the 3-drop Smoker to be able to attack for some pretty high numbers, especially with the Buggy on the board. That'll be an easy 0 cost for us in the future.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and Crocodile is just going to kind of sit on the Buggy, too. There's not really any ways that I can actually get it off the table. I can put Dawn on it and swing and try to get you to remove it for me, but my Don's really committed.
Very much in these early turns.
One of the issues with Blue right now is that all of the characters cost so much, and you get kind of middling effects from them.
Yeah.
But that does just mean that like constantly your Dawn is tied up into playing 4-cost characters or 5-cost characters or 6, whatever it might be. But you don't really have 3 Dawn to spare for the Buggy here. And we are going to play Mr. 3, pretty good card.
So, you definitely in the Crocodile deck feel like you need to establish some 4-drop blockers at some point. So getting one of those out of the way sounds pretty good at this point.
Oh, this one's incredibly flexible too with Inazuma. This is going to give you more control over the Inazuma ability.
Yeah,
it's really powerful there.
But it's also powerful if you want to try and turn the corner. You can attack, use
Absolutely.
the untap ability, come back, and you're still blocking.
Yes. Well, I think that is a bit more punishing in Crocodile, though, than Ivankov. Of course, you're not going to be able to draw those cards back. And when you're discarding cards like 9-cost Mihawk, it is not as good of an ability.
That is fair.
And we're going to swing for 6K here.
Yep. We had a swing for 7 with the Smoker ability on the Buggy, and then that turns our character Smoker into 6K. So swinging in to pressure that as well.
Yes.
And another life down.
And Blue does have a bit of 2Ks, but we are just taking this down to 3, trying to get as much resources as possible because we are looking at a 6-cost Luffy in hand already, and that card is going to require some resources. We know that we can 7-drop to put in the 6-drop Luffy, and then that's an on-play ability, which is going to cost 2. And then also when I attack with it the following turn, that's another 2 cards. So we are kind of considering taking that extra damage in order to pay for those late-game effects.
Looks like you're considering you brought Buggy to the front of your hand. Maybe a play with Buggy to see what's going on.
Yeah, so we're at 6 Dawn right now. We're holding 5-cost Crocodile. So we're trying to figure out what rounds out the turn the best. So we are just going to go with a 6K attack on your 4K, make you,
I think that's good. That's a powerful character that's been swinging in. You definitely feel pressured by it, I think, so removing it is probably smart.
And we're going to swing with the blocker here. So since you did not counter out, we're going to keep pressuring you. I'm actually surprised to see you not take that one.
It is definitely possible. My hand was doing okay at the moment. I guess something like a Sakazuki would be quite good here, but it felt like the one drop Kobe's weren't going to do a whole lot in this matchup specifically.
Okay.
So using it as a 1K sounded pretty good at the time.
Yeah. No, I think that's very reasonable. And we're going to discard the buggy that we didn't play because next turn we're going up to 8 Dawn, which is a moment where we could equip spin the Dawn on a buggy and then play Ivankov, but we don't expect to lose any characters this turn.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, we're not trying to lose it to blocks. So we're going to have 5 characters on board already. If we play Buggy, that means we go to 6. We're placing the one on board. So we're kind of just leaving ourselves open for getting in, that attacker, but also just not needing to clear up my own space next turn.
I think that is very fair. All right. Deciding on attacks here, and we want Kuzan to, it looks like, shrink the Crocodile. Probably because we have Kobe in hand that would be able to deal with the Crocodile in a meaningful way here.
Kobe would certainly make me regret discarding the buggy. But we are holding a second copy of Buggy, so the regret is very short-lived.
Yeah.
And also a 1-cost Trafalgar Law, so we are going to be able to spam 2 blockers on the turn, on a single turn, and we actually picked up a third there. So that is, a level of comfort that we have. So, we go down to 2 pretty comfortably, probably go down to 1, as well.
Yeah.
You certainly don't have any rush characters out of your deck, no evasion either. So it is very face-up, like how much damage you can deal each turn.
Yeah. Interesting play I just thought of while sitting here is I could use the Smoker ability here to drop down the 1-drop Kobe and use it on the Crocodile then. But instead I am opting for the 3-drop and discarding that one so that I can continue out by playing Kuzan, which I guess is pretty good, yeah. All right, I do like that play though.
Kobe is a much bigger attacker than
that's definitely
Kobe.
a one aspect that I like there.
Now discarding it is just kind of saying, hey, I don't even need this effect anymore. That could be right or wrong. I'm not sure.
I like the blockers and I like the Hina.
Yeah.
It is possible I should have I think discarded the 5-drop name blanking me. Is that the 5-drop Smoker?
Is a Smoker, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're holding Great Eruption as well, so you might get another card selection there.
Yeah. Great Eruption was a fine draw. It's always a fine draw, I think.
It's just a 1-cost that's gonna. It's an enabler. It's not. It's kind of a deck filler at the moment.
Yep. And I feel like I should be protecting my Kuzan here. I should be forcing you to discard cards from your hand if you're gonna attack with that Mr. 3.
Yeah, and I'm kind of just trying to clear a board because, I am looking at the 9-cost Mihawk in my hand, and I'm looking at, I'm about to have a really big turn this turn as well as next. And so I just want to keep your board as clear as possible before I start trying to alpha strike you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't counter out, though, even though I said it, but that's okay. I think countering out was probably a better play.
Well, I don't know. Your hand is quite thin. I think you recognize that as well. A lot of your cards, a lot of the cards that are counterable are also playables, and you kind of need those cards. I'm sure you feel that this is an Ivankov turn.
Yeah, I think I liked countering out mostly because it was able to get through something like what's going on right now, where yes, my Kuzans now look kind of silly. Having the Kuzans in hand to enable your other things that are going on is very good. I think that's even more reason that I should have just discarded the 5-drop Smoker on the previous turn instead of the 1-drop Kobe, because then that could have countered out then in that way.
Yep. 5-cost Smoker is, he feels very medium to me right now.
He is a bit medium. He's good in those matchups where you're trying to play a bit longer game, something like a mirror match, something against any of the purple decks.
Interesting that you're valuing the Hina so highly over your Don Quixotes. I tend to value the Hina pretty low, to be honest, just because of the 5 Don. It's a bit of a commitment.
That is definitely fair. I felt like Hina would a lot of times here be able to control 2 of the things you have going on, and it's also a 5-drop, so the Luffy can't bounce it. But I think that is a fair assessment of the card.
All of that is very true. Yeah, definitely getting around the Luffy ability there is incredibly important, especially when he gains double strike for having done so.
Yeah. But then you just have the Crocodile ability, the 1-2 punch we keep seeing. So
yeah, exactly. Hina does still fall into that 5-cost range. So Crocodile getting around some things that, like, the strongest blue cards right now can't even do.
Yeah.
Certainly, that's an underscore for the starter deck Crocodile's ability.
Yeah, definitely.
Honestly,
it feels a little silly because it feels like I haven't seen much of the Crocodile.
Well, I mean, if what's fun is, like, I actually find matchups, grooves where starter deck Crocodile is quite powerful, and the other starter deck cards, the other starter deck leaders, not so much these days. I mean, we tried to force Kid in a few games, and I think recently we saw that it did do really well
Yeah.
in a regional or something. But so many times it just feels blatantly worse than Kenemon. Luffy falling off, except for the one Luffy pro out
Yep.
there, and Kaido just just being wholly forgotten for Magellan. So
Yeah,
you know,
Magellan is kind of just better, but
all right. We are going to see a Mihawk come down, and that,
rip my entire board.
Mihawk is always indicative of a really big pivot. Now, what's interesting to me is that I did bottom the Hina there. I could have considered bottoming the Kobe because it is like one of the non-bounceable cards to me. I can bounce it, but why give you
can.
another Kobe? We could just say, hey, that Hina in your hand is going to cost you 5 resources, where the Kobe would only cost you 3.
Yeah.
So there's actually a good merit for just putting the Kobe on the bottom of the deck and getting it rid of.
Yeah, but you're also just bouncing it.
Yeah. Well, I
or
think
I'm sorry,
we're
you're also
swinging
just
on
attacking
it.
it. Yes, that's what I
Yes,
meant.
and it's not worth you countering out, of course.
No, I just let it die, unfortunately. But yeah, you can do it that way. You have a possible double attack here. So yeah, 2 cards
And
discarded.
this is going to be the double strike that is going to let you restock your hand, and then we are still playing a full game here. So you're going to go to 2. You're probably going to go to 1 after the Ivankov attack as well. You just gained 2 resources. You probably okay. Oh, that's
Sure, no Ivankov attack.
no Ivankov attack.
I guess you're winning on the next turn, which is fair.
I think that was kind of my thought was, hey, I need to protect this. But then, if we're being honest with the camera here, I do have that blocker on the table. It would be quite the amount of resources for you to both kill my Forge Cost blocker and attack the Ivankov for enough.
Like we said, I don't play Rush, so
Yeah.
attacking twice seems like a tall order.
Exactly, yeah. Now we are at 0 cards in hand, and that that's a big consideration as well. You only need 2 Dawn on your Smoker in order, actually even 1 Dawn on your Smoker in order to attack cleanly on the Ivankov. So maybe there is actually good merit to keeping it back.
That's fair.
It just depends on how you see it.
It's also holding the blocker back saves you from the Luffy attacks here too, which is or me attacking the Luffy that is, which is definitely your best character in play right now.
Yeah,
being able to bounce the blockers that I could possibly play is very good.
And if we can go to the next turn with the Luffy having double strike and actually connecting with you, then you're suddenly staring down 4 more attackers at least,
Yeah.
and the buggy even becomes a threat.
That is completely fair. Damn you, Buggy.
He came down on turn 1, and he's the first one to clock in and the last one to clock out.
Yep. All right. So we saw me Sables to give -2 to the 4-drop blocker in play. Assumedly so to equip 1 Dawn to Smoker, give it another -1, and then we can Great Eruption it. Yep. There we go. Give it a -1.
Yeah. And now it can be Meteor Volcano.
Oh, Meteor Volcano. Yes, I'm sorry, not Great Eruption again. So that's out of the way. I can get an attack in, and I drew a Sakazuki, so that is something I can use to hopefully answer what's going on. Although that's 5-drop or less. Yeah, no, that doesn't work either.
It is, and I think you're about to discover that when you play the Sakazuki here.
I did it a second time while casting it. That's fun.
It's honesty hour here, here in the booth.
Yeah, it's fine. Then I can play Borsalino plus Don Quixote, which is fine.
Yeah,
not good.
2
in the face of what's
blockers.
going on.
If we're being honest here, playing Sakazuki is a complete tap out of your resources with no blockers on the table, so that actually does put you in a little bit of a bind.
Yeah.
Now, at least when you play the blockers, at the very minimum, I do have to commit resources into bouncing them back to your hand. I have 0 cards in my hand at the moment, so I'm going to draw 1 off the top of my deck, and I'm not actually going to have a second card in order to use the.
No, you did. I attacked you. And you took it to life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I see. I moved it down. Okay.
Yeah.
You did make that attack. That's actually really important to call out to the audience here. If you're unaware, you do have to discard 2 cards for the Luffy ability. So if Nathan had not attacked me there, I actually could not have activated the Luffy ability on the following turn.
I agree. I think I'm losing the game though if I'm not attacking you here.
Also
I
very
think if
true.
you're not at 0, I'm not going to be able to get through because I'm not going to have any characters out. So I don't think I could. And yep, remembering that. Oh, hey, Sakazuki, doesn't do that. You tried to do that, you idiot. So we talk about it for a second.
Sakazuki plus 5-cost Smoker. Maybe your opponent lets you do it.
So we establish, hey, let's just make a better play for what's going on here. So we do. Yep.
All right.
And
And I do kind of like that line better. I mean, it doesn't, that line, of course, would have dealt with the Luffy had I allowed it, but double blocker here is nothing to scoff at. It is going to cost me quite a bit of resources in order to do this.
both cards and -4 Dawn. And then it's just establishing how do I attack this, and you have to -4
So
prior. It looks like.
I do think that we kind of saw this line come up in a different video where that Dawn equip would have been a free attack with the buggy, and it's just so hard for me. Yeah, I guess I don't play blue often enough to really think about those in the moment, but I did miss that one more time, and for the buggy fans out there, it's just mad disrespect, and you guys, you deserve better.
Well, who knows? Maybe Buggy will get in for its final shot instead, and then
Well,
you get there.
okay, we would 180, and that would be the most respect.
All right,
But
so
really, Nathan, if Buggy deals lethal damage, I think that one would be you allowing that to happen.
I have to imagine so. Yeah.
Okay, and we are going to swing here for 11. And this is just a big incentive for you to take this.
It's a double attack, so
Yes.
I either get out of it or I lose pretty much.
And it is quite the amount, and that is a lot of resources to put onto my Luffy as well,
Yeah.
which takes away from the rest of my attacks this turn. Okay, we're just going to swing 9 here for the last
Yep,
attack,
and
and
nothing
that
counters.
is that is enough. The unfortunately the Smoker and the Kuzan, which I already knew about. Sorry, switch back over here. We already knew about the 2 of the cards in your hand. At
Yep.
that point, you just go down to 2, and unfortunately they don't equal 5K.
They really don't.
And I don't think they ever could.
No, I think they're already good enough, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, if you're new to the channel and you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. And if you'd like more content, check out the playlist on the screen right now. And we will see you in the next one.